So our practice this evening, I'm going to tie a little bit in that links in with the recent Diwali. So when we did our in-person classes, we usually always used to do this every year. Some of those of you remember that. Back in the day, we'd all bring some treats to share, and it's just nice. I just like it. You know, I'm not Hindu. I don't know what I am actually, but I just like celebrating it. I think it's interesting. I'm always been fascinated by the gods and goddesses anyway. When you read about their energy, they're just, I think that the energy of each one is so different, and I think it's just an interesting concept to focus on. It's really interesting. So what I've decided to do this evening for this lesson is I've kind of drawn on Lakshmi a little bit this evening, because there is this whole storyline around Diwali, and Lakshmi is part of that. Diwali is the festival of lights, or the row of lights, and Lakshmi is said to, she's like the goddess of wealth. And because Diwali is like, it's almost like a New Year celebration. So like at New Year, we'd be having fireworks and making New Year's resolutions and having parties and things like that. That's kind of what's happening now, like across different, not just India, but in the Hindu religion in particular. So Lakshmi is about bringing those blessings of wealth and prosperity into the new year for the new beginnings. And any of you that saw the live that I put on the other day, I think I did, yeah, I did do a live about it. This time of year, Diwali would be like about birthing new ideas, new plans, but also like your business accounts and things like that. You'd be, because it's supposed to be a good time of year to sign everything off and hand everything over. So the energy is up, and it's about light over dark. It's about good over evil. So how we're tying that in with the yoga class tonight is we are going to do candle gazing, probably at the end, because it is actually a Kriya practice. So it is actually classed as a cleansing practice for the eyes, because if you wear contact lenses or you've got any issues with gazing at lights and things, you would need to blink, particularly contact lens wearers. But other than that, we're gazing at the candle flame, and by keeping the eyes really focused and still, it's helping you concentrate, but it brings like a kind of stillness as well. So it's a nice practice to do, and I think we'll do that towards the end. So we'll tie in some of the elements of Lakshmi into today's lesson. And how we're going to begin is with the lotus flower mudra at the heart. So there's no tension in the shoulders. If you want to just release the wrists first before we go in, just circle through the wrists, stretch the fingers, just get some energy and heat into the hands. So she is on I think she rises up from a lotus flower. So we're just holding this lotus flower mudra here. So you've just got the thumb and little finger edge, and then it's like just curling the fingers round, not stressing the hands too much and not forcing the head down, but I just want the shoulders to be relaxed and the elbows to be heavy and the chest nice and open. But then I want the gaze to go down into the center of this mudra. So you're not totally tipping the chin down and making the back of the neck overstretch. It's just a slight tucking in of the chin and the gaze down. Start to settle the body into the space that you're in. Start to come into this space with this lotus mudra. Lotus, we know, symbolizes purity, resilience, beauty. And Lakshmi is all about love, radiance, inner abundance. And that wealth and prosperity is on all levels. It's not about material things. It's on a spiritual level. It's on an emotional level. So as we just sit and let that gaze just go down into that space of that lotus mudra, we just honour the teachings that come from these gods and goddesses, the energy that they bring that we can connect with. And we allow ourselves just to come into this moment, just to rest in this space. Let the breath slow down. We all have the God and Goddess energy in all of us. We all have this love, radiance, and in abundance within us. We all have this knowledge within us. We all have this light within us. It's just honouring all of that, honouring the light within us and honouring the light within everyone else. And just feeling into the heart space for a moment. Just imagining a gentle opening of the petals of a lotus flower as it rises up to the surface to reveal itself to the light. Taking the energy of that light and to feel a sense of expansion to that light. Feel the expansion in your breath and across the chest as you slightly increase your breath. Really feel that you can swell the body with the breath, more up into the chest, heart, shoulders, ribs. So bringing the breath in deeper, but into the upper portion of your breath, area of your lungs, chest. So a couple more breaths. And then when you're ready, we just bring the palms together now and just press the palms together. Remind ourselves of our own strength as we push into the hands. We feel that effort coming through the arms, shoulders, chest. Pressure into the hands. Just keep pushing, just keep pushing. Just get some heat and energy up into the upper extremities and then slowly release it. And just peel the hands away and just slowly release the wrists and the fingers. Okay, so we're going to come and make our way onto the mat on a sitting on our bottoms to start. Just stretch your legs out for a moment just to release them after that. Bring my candle, it's a bit hot. Bring it somewhere where you can see it. In a safe space that it is not going to get knocked over. Okay, So sitting on something, give you a bit of extra comfort. So to begin with, we will start with our legs in this position. So feet are quite wide. You can put your hands, I mean, you don't have to sit on anything here. You can sit directly on the floor, but just rocking the knees over from side to side. So make sure the feet are not too far away from your body. In fact, it is actually probably better without for this. And I just want you to warm up into the hips and get a sense of this movement. Knees must be wide, feet must be wide, and you kind of feel like you travel a bit in this. So did this the other week, you know, sat upright, but we're doing it in a supportive way today, just bringing the energy into the hips. So just speeding it up a little if you can. Relaxed in the shoulders, not forcing the knees or legs, but just feeling that little slight twist. Good. And then just coming back to center and encouraging now legs to go wide and the knees to come into a bend. And this is where I will sit on a support just to support my hips. It just gets my hips a bit higher and it just releases the pressure that I feel in the groin and in the hip flexor. So wide position, hands on the inside of the legs, holding so that rather than you're like kind of maybe a little bit slouchy, you're holding onto the legs, you're pushing the knees slightly away from each other and sitting up as tall as you can. And just having a moment to feel into that. So hands wherever it is comfortable, but the idea is that we're not folding forward in it, we're sitting up and I'm using the hands gripping around the legs to lift the chest and just having a moment, breathing there. And then we're going to turn one of our hands, so we put the back of the hand onto the inner leg and then slide the hand. It might go down to the foot, it might not, yeah? So you just slide it where it's comfortable. Keep the chest open. And as I just do that movement, I'm just taking my hand across my chest. I'm encouraging the chest to open and this back shoulder to get out of the way. And then I can extend that arm. You can keep it there if that's better for you in your shoulder, but we're extending the arm, not up in the air, but out at a diagonal. So I'm on my sitting bones, I'm leaning forward slightly, and I'm reaching up and away. And there is an option to turn to look at that hand behind you. Stay lifted, stay sitting up out of your pelvis, reaching away with that arm. Deep breath across the chest, soften the jaw, soften the neck, and then release. Come back to center, have a little shoulder roll, and maybe release of the legs. Just this time, bring the knees in and out. Okay, and we'll come back to it. So placing the back of the hand somewhere where it's comfortable, sitting up. So you will feel possibly those back muscles working on this. So you're reaching down a little bit, you're bringing your hand, the flat of your hand, and you're smoothing it across the chest. You're encouraging this back shoulder to move back. And then if you want to, extending that arm out. So it's not up in the air, it's at a diagonal. Sitting up, reaching down, reaching back. Option to turn, not lifting the chin up into the air, but turning the head gently to look towards that back hand. And just feeling the support you've got of that leg with that arm. Feeling that opening across the chest. Drop the shoulders down and away from your ears. Soften the space around the jaw. Take those long, smooth breaths to open up the chest and the front body with your breath. And then when you're ready, slowly come through to the center. This time, bring your legs in. Lean back if you need to or want to, and just wobble the legs out. Just do whatever feels good to release those legs. And then just squeeze down the legs all the way down to the ankle. So just squeeze the muscles, thighs, and down the lower legs. Just do that one more time. Just to bring you very aware of your body, and then release those wrists. Okay. So I'm going to do a little bit of work for abdominals before we come into this balance that we're going to do. A little bit for abdominals and a bit for hips. So we're going to come down onto the mat completely on your back, legs in the bend. And then we'll bring the knees at a right angle. And then we're just going to have a go at that very simple movement that just gets into this lower area of the abdominals. So we're trying not to get too much of a gap in the back, but we're not forcing the back down. We're just toning a little bit around that belly button and lower. And we're just extending one leg down towards the floor, but not on the floor, and then bringing it back. So one leg stays straight, one leg extends away, down towards the floor, and then we bring it back. If you want to add to that, you can lift your head and your neck and your upper back off the floor and hold it there with the elbows nice and relaxed, and just take that movement with the leg. So the breath out, extend the leg away. The lower down to the floor, the harder it'll be to do this and to bring it back. So don't push your belly up to the ceiling, suck your belly back and just control. It's quite slow. So you don't have to do it with your breathing, but just slow in and slow out. So one more on each side. Lifting the head is making it much more intense. And then slowly release. So now I want you to take the knees wide. And I want you to bring the arms through the center and hold on to the ankles or onto the shins. But I want you to encourage the knees to open, to get into the inner thigh, and just hold them there, draw them in and hold them, get the shoulders down, that the lower back is not lifted, it's down, pelvis is down, and just rock, roll. So you either do circles or you rock from side to side. Keep encouraging those knees to stay wide. And you're just holding on wherever is appropriate for you. Head stays down, shoulders are down. You're just, again, getting some energy into the hips and just stretching into the groins. It does not have to be anything huge. And then we'll come back to stillness. We'll just hold it there for a little while longer. If you want to just straighten a leg out to the side, you can do that. You can just alternate taking the leg out and then bringing it back. So one leg is being held, the other leg is moving, or you can just stay as you were. So different options. just to get into the hamstrings a bit. And just stretch a little bit more into the behind the knee. Good. And then bring the knees in, hug them in for a moment. And release. Feet to the floor. And just have a moment there. Just put one hand on your belly, put one hand on your heart, your center chest. And just feel the presence of your breath. Feel the presence of that beautiful breath come and go. The breath is so underrated for what it can provide, how it can help change our whole physiology. So just honouring the breath as it enters and leaves the body. Honouring the body for all its great functions, systems. And just a moment to be grateful for being here doing this, having this time. Let that energy just drop down. Let the mind just start to filter its day. And then just come out of that slowly and just have a little release, stretch the arms away. If you want to do a full body stretch, you can do a full body stretch. So we're just going to do one more abdominal exercise. This time, we're going to tuck the body in. So you're making a nice big ball with the body as the knees come in and you crouch up towards your thighs. Okay, so that's breathing out, squeezing all the air out, drawing back the belly. As you breathe in, there's different options. You can take your arms out to the side and take your legs at a diagonal. Yeah, so you exhale, hug in, you inhale. So your head doesn't go back, that's making it harder, but your legs go straight. Taking them closer to the floor will make it more difficult. Placing the head down will take out the strain in the neck. So it's that exhale, pulling everything in. The inhale, arms nice and wide, or the option is you can take the arms back behind you. Again, if it's too much strain in the neck, you put the head down and you just work on the lift in that squeeze. So just a couple more of these. This will get you really warm and get the energy flowing again, keeping the legs a bit higher. Really, it doesn't put the strain on the back. So one more. And again, slowly release. Resting point, just take the soles of the feet together. So hand on low belly, hand on to the heart. This time, swap the hands over. So it's a different hand, it's the other hand, the other way round. And this time I really want you to pull the breath down into the pelvis. I want the hand to be on that lower pelvic area. I want you to relax all the lower body, and I want you to deeply bring the breath in to this lower area as if you're swelling the lower abdomen, and the energy is being pulled down into that pelvic area, which is our area of creativity, our area of flow. And imagine that that part of the body is really swelling as the breath is pulled in deeply. You may even get a sense of that underneath your hand. And just do your best. So last breath. Again, just release the arms out. Just take any stretch that you want, whether it's legs in the air, whether it's legs down the mat, tucking them in. Just really take time to release the ankles, the legs, the arms. No rushing, just flow into those different movements that are just to ease the body from its day. Just resetting the physical body in a mindful, nurturing way. And then, just pop ourselves onto the side of the body, not rushing this process to come back up. So just take it very, very steady. Do not push yourself up too quickly. So we're just going to have a little go at how it feels to come into this position where the feet are pulled in and the knees are quite high. And there is a pose called the flower pose, which actually is a balance. It's a balance, a seated balance. So you can start this by just lifting the feet off and keeping hold of your ankles or hold of your shins. Again, sitting that chest through, so you're not caving, you're sitting up. Then there is an option to take the hands underneath the legs, and you can hold the thumb and the index finger. And it's a tricky one sometimes to get your balance. And if you've got a lot of flexibility in your hips, you can get the hips up, knees up higher, and the feet up higher. But, I feel like my legs are really heavy and it's quite tight in the hips. So just do what you can do. Take a breath in. And let it go. And then slowly, just let the legs come back. Take them wide. And just release the hips. So we're going to go into a twist while we're here. So I'm just going to turn on the mat just because I think it'll be easy for you to see the second stage of it. First stage, we'll pull out the buttocks and we'll do the usual twist where we've got one leg crossed over the other. Sit up nice and tall, so avoid the rounding. We're sitting up, but we're not pushing chest forward, we're just elevating up, and then we're turning into our twist. Back hand is there for support. We rotate, bring the knee in, rotate, bring the knee in, and we just stay there. Encourage the shoulders to drop. And take a couple of deep breaths and just notice where your breath actually goes. without being directed. Just take the deep breath and feel it move into the body. So what we're going to do now is we're going to de-rotate out of the twist. We're going to place the leg, just take it at the side, so we've uncrossed it. We're going to take the hand, the same knee that's up, and place it onto the heart. And this is the bit that's just going to be a little bit different, because we're going to take the hand behind us and we're going to use the strength to push through that hand to just lift. And keep the hand on the heart and just let the elbow lift up. And then come back through. Yeah, we'll try that again. The hand goes behind, spread the fingers, we're pushing through that foot and we're pushing the bum up. So squeeze and lift the bum, lift the elbow, and then release. The arms are released, and then we'll do it one more time. And this time, if you want to stretch this arm up into the air, you can do. Just one thing about the backhand, make sure your shoulder is lined up over it and not over challenging the wrist. Yeah, so you do need to stretch it back. So when you come up into it this time, you can stretch that arm up. You can take it in the air or behind you. I'm on the side of my foot on the straight leg. And drop the head, relax the head. And then slowly come out of it. Let the legs forward. Have a little wobble. Have a release of the shoulders. Okay, so we're going to do your twist on the other side. So just cross that other leg over now. Move the buttock flesh out of the way. Sit up nice and tall, rotate. Draw that knee in. Breathe in and sit up. Exhale to rotate. Checking the neck is not doing it all. You get that turn of your ribs, the hand behind you for support to keep you elevated. Feel that breath come into your body. Just notice where it goes as you are in the twist. And then when you're ready, slowly de-rotate back to the front. Uncross that leg. Have a moment. Place the hand on the chest of that same leg that's bent. The other hand goes behind, not too close, because you need that movement, that space for movement. Spread the fingers, push through that hand, push through the foot, and you're coming up into that nice, strong movement. It's a bit like a side plank, but a supported one. Elbow lifts, and then come back down, slowly control it. Have a moment, take a breath. And then we'll go on to that again. So hands placed, fingers spread, push through that supporting foot, go onto the side of that foot, and you're lifting your hips and squeezing a little bit into the buttocks to lift. Elbow lifted. Slowly come through and down, have a break for a moment, release the wrists. Take a breath, and then we'll go up into it again. And this time, you can reach that arm up and really relax the neck into it. Just, go into it a little bit deeper if you feel you want to explore that. So you can see my arm is tracked above my wrist. It is strong in the shoulder, so you have to be mindful of that. Come back down. A little release. Nice big shoulders. Just take them big and wide. Just have a moment to release the neck. Turning from left to right. And then taking the chin to chest. And then the chin up to ceiling. And then back to centre. Okay, so let's have a look, see where we are. Yes, we're going to come up to standing. So we've got to, this tonight's lesson, I said I was threading the goddess Lakshmi into it, then we've got to do a goddess squat. Of course we have. We've got to fit that in. So before we do that, so we really feel like the legs are kind of prepped for it, we should do a little bit in the legs first. So go onto the outside edges a little bit of your feet. Make sure you're not squeezing your feet and toes into the mat. And then we're going to do that warm up that we've done before, where arms don't need to be involved. And you can go as deep as you want. So you can go very low, and that will work strongly through the hips and legs, or you can stay up here. But try not to, just keep an eye on the knee. You can see the knee is tracking it over the foot. One leg goes bent, one leg goes straight, and you need your legs quite wide for this, else you'll find your knees will be tracking too far over the foot. And if you do want that challenge, just come a bit lower. Just come a little bit lower. And just feel that effort through the buttocks and the thighs. And you're not rounding or losing the openness of the chest. You're not caving. Keep that nice and open. Whatever you do with your arms, you're not crushing the front body. Good. And then just slowly come to centre and just rise up. So we know the squat, the goddess squat, is the squat in the legs. So I want you to get your fingers onto the thigh, and I want you to just sit into it a little bit and then roll the muscles back a bit, as if you take them behind, and then sit into it a bit more. Okay. And just notice that in the legs, and then have a little break from it, a little wriggle. So what we're going to do with the hands is we're going to come into that position. So it's just feel into this for a few moments, where you draw the elbows in, shoulder blades pull in, you're squeezing in behind you, but there's an energy in the hands, yeah, so you're squeezing in and then you're releasing out. It's like those wings drawing back, yeah. So we're going to come down, elbows in, sitting into the squat, chest open, and just breathing in it. If you want to do stick your tongue out and do a couple of cleansing breaths, you can. You sit a bit deeper. And then stretch the arms out, stretch the legs long, and just reach the arms up and just let the arms take a different shape. Just stretch them out and back. Have a moment just to feel that openness. And then release it. Bring the feet in just a touch. So we're just going to do this action where we just go from one side to the other, trying to keep the leg pretty straight and feel this sense of balance coming into that one leg, so the body starts to tip. And then as we rock, we can take the arm down with us. Yeah. So the hand, same hand as the leg that we're balancing on, starts to drop. And we start to try and encourage that hand to drop a bit further, and then it starts to change it a bit, gets a bit more challenging. Maybe you want to just keep both arms out. See if that helps. And then I want you to just see if you can get a point where you can just balance in it, tipping it a bit more, stretch the arms out a bit wider, lift that leg up a bit higher, drop down a bit more, lift the leg up a bit higher, spread the arms out a bit more, and just stretch across the chest, and then slowly release. A little wriggle in the centre, and have a go at that on the other side. So tipping, stretching the arms out, lifting the leg up, tipping, stretching the arms wide, lifting into that leg, squeezing into that leg as it lifts, squeezing across the chest as you open the arms, tip a bit more, and just feel that strength of that leg, that balance. Slightly off centre, but you found your balance point, or maybe you haven't, and then slowly release and just step legs forward. So just take the legs, the knees slightly across the body, yeah, knees slightly across the body, as if you're taking a knee to its opposite shoulder, yeah. Good. Look at the feet, hit the toes forward. Yeah, all sets of toes pointing forward, heel straight back, slight softness in the knees, and we're going to just allow the body to go into a forward fold. You can keep your hands on your shins, you can keep them on your thighs, you can put them on the floor. I want you to drop the crown of the head so there is no tension. I want you to check in with the tension in your neck. Take a couple of sighs, let go. Let go of the stuff that has been burdening you, the stuff that probably wasting too much energy on. And see this as your fresh new moment. Fresh new moment from here on in. Slowly letting go of that breath, that neck. Maybe the hamstrings are releasing a bit more, maybe the lower back. Notice all of it. How the body is responding to this idea of letting go, surrendering. Maybe there are things that you're wanting to birth into existence or manifest. If it was, if you were celebrating Diwali seriously, you would be mapping that out now. You would be journaling on it, writing on it, meditating on it, praying on it. What you want for yourself, what you want for your life. Why not? So we're going to slowly walk the hands up. Slowly, 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 just walk the hands up bit by bit before we come to the top. So we're going to come into a sun warrior because it is about light over dark, and I want us to really imagine that we are literally holding the sun. We just have that eclipse, holding that sun. So we get the warrior legs nice and strong, back leg strong, knee in direction of front toes, back hand rests on the back thigh. It's up to you how much you sit into this, depending on your legs. And then you lift that arm, sun warrior. You've got that big sun hand, which if you want to, you can bring it further over the body. So you're leaning back, but you're looking up at that hand. Imagine those beams of sun illuminating you and life. And as you breathe in and come up, you lift your body up and you bring yourself into the traditional warrior that we're familiar with. You drop the shoulders down your back, pull the shoulders down the back, and turn in the direction of that bent knee. And just anchor yourself in this moment. This moment where you feel your own strength and your own stability, your own groundedness. And then release. Let the feet turn in. Let the heels go out slightly. Soften the knees a tiny bit and have forward fold in the centre. Hands can go onto shins, they can go onto the floor. The head again drop. If you struggle to let go of your neck, you can just use your hand, and you can just put your hand onto the back of your head and encourage it to drop. Just put a bit of weight on it, it won't fall off. And just then bring the hand back. And then slowly, don't rush as we're going up and down a bit. So just slowly walk your hands back up to come into your sun warrior on the other side. Back heel pushes away. Hips are open. Yeah. Feel into the legs bit by bit. Stage it in. Back hand onto the leg. Turn the palm up. Lift up the arm. Look at the palm. Look at the fingers. Option 2. Slightly slide into that side bend as the hand goes down the leg. That is an option. You don't have to do that. The sun is there to remind us of the light. Tone back the abdominals, use an inhale to lift, to draw the arms away from each other and the shoulders down, and just gracefully turn into that warrior. Just feel a sense of grace and ease in it, not a push, not a stiff holding energy, more of a graceful warrior energy. And then when you're ready, use an inhale to release the legs and an exhale to come out of that and just bring the feet in together. Just let the knees come forward this time. And have a moment just to come up and down. just to stimulate the calves a little bit, just stretch and release, heels up and down. Okay, so we're going to come back down to the floor. We're going to do a little bit of work in the bridge, and then I'm going to give you an option of whether you might want to use a wall or whether you're going to, I'm going to give you different options actually for the legs. For like a shoulder stand or like a modified one using a wall. So to begin with, we're just going to see how we get on with just bringing the body into this easy movement of coming up and down. So we bring the feet quite close in. Arms can be at the side of the body for the first one. Let's tilt the pelvis, lift, lower back, middle back, upper back, chest lifts and opens, belly opens. What I like to do also is push the upper arms into the floor and just wriggle the shoulders in a bit. So sucking the shoulders in underneath the body gives me a bit more lift in the chest. And you've got to feel into this for your back, knees forward. And just try and breathe now up into your upper chest. See if you can stay in it for a couple more breaths. Breathe up into the chest. And then when you're ready, slowly lower down, lower the back down through the hips. Let the shoulders re-establish back into that position. And just have a moment. Elevate the legs into the air. Just stretch the legs up into the air. Point and flex through the ankle. Circle one way then the other. So there's different options. This is an option. It's just having the legs elevated or having them elevated at the wall. Yeah. Another option is using the wall. This is where it gets fun, getting up there, because we want to be as close to the wall as possible. Because then what we're going to do is push. So as I have my feet on the wall, as I lift my buttocks and I lift my lower back, the weight shifts into my shoulders like it did in the pose we've just done. But the difference is that I've got my legs on the wall and I can walk my legs a little bit higher. Then that's when I tuck the elbows in and I feel everything squeezing in around the shoulder. So the head's still down. So any eye problems, things like that, where you don't want pressure in your head, I wouldn't do it. And you can take the legs up the wall or you can keep them bent. You can bring the hands and you can put the hands onto the lower back. Some of you may feel confident to lift the legs away from the wall or at least lift one leg away. So that's 3/4 with the legs kind of angled, yeah. It's actually easier than the legs in the air. But I want you to be really mindful of pulling your elbows in. If you're going for this option, squeeze those elbows in and push them down. Otherwise, you can just stay here. Just choose the option. Some people don't like this on the wrists if they take the legs away because it does put a bit of pressure through the wrists. So just go for the level that is right for you. And if your legs are off the wall, slowly control them back. And then you roll down just like you would if you were doing the normal bridge. You just roll down from the upper back all the way down through the waist and down to the lower back. Whichever version you've taken, just allow your legs to be in the air. And then hug the knees in and just have a little release of the knees into the body. And then you can roll onto the side of the body. And I want you to just have a moment there. Just stay there. Use your hand as a pillow just to rest the head on. And just a few more breaths. Just taking our time with that transition. And then when you feel ready, use the hand to push yourself up. Just really take it steady to come back. So we need to light our candles if they're not already lit. And we need to have our candles in a place where we can try to gaze at the flame, if that's possible. So if you bring it too close to you, it might not be good for your neck. So just have it at a distance where I can't pick that up now, it's too hot. Have it at a distance where you can see the flame if possible, or see something that you can gaze at. So it doesn't have to be a candle, it can just be something that you're fixing your vision on and you're gazing on. So the Tratakar is about steadying the eyes, bringing the eyes to a steady, still point, but also about resisting the temptation to blink. And that is what makes it quite cleansing. So often people can get very watery eyes or can get very weird sensations. I used to get literally like stabbing pains in my eyes if I didn't blink, but it was apparently supposed to do that. So if you get streams, that's good. It means that it's working. So before we go dive straight into it, we're just going to prepare ourselves first with a little bit of a meditation. So I just want you to wet your finger and just put it where your middle eye is, just do a blob there. And then just take the hand away and you should feel that little bit of sensation of coolness. Let the shoulders drop down for a moment and just let the eyes soften. Close the eyes, let them soften. Let the gaze go inward for a moment. And just prepare for that stillness. So the eyes are still now, body settling, and just remind ourselves of the inner light that we all have within us. Lakshmi being the bringer of wealth and prosperity, and the candles in the homes were to direct her so she knew where to go to bring her wealth and abundance. But true wealth and abundance is generosity at the heart. So it's just going into your own heart space and just having that generosity there for For other people, yes, but also for yourself. Be generous to yourself. So easy to be generous to others, but what about being generous to yourself with your time? What about being generous to yourself with your kind thoughts? What about being generous to yourself with the choices that you make that are positive for your well-being? So that generosity at the heart for you as much as for everyone else. Knowing that abundance is there. We're born with this abundance. As the body feels settled and the eyes feel settled in the face, you can then just slowly open the eyes to just vision it, either the candle or whatever it is that you are going to focus your gaze on. And everything else to the left and to the right and above and below. Just kind of park that out of your vision and just let your vision tunnel to either the flame or whatever it is that you're focusing on. Take away the chatter. Let it just be an object that you are focusing on. Keeping the eyes still, trying to not be constantly blinking to try to override that need. To bring that newness into the eyes, into the vision. To bring that clarity forward. You need to create that space. Just drink in flame or the item, connectedness you've got with it without having a backstory. You may have had to blink several times, that's fine. You might feel like you need to give your eyes a rest and you might need to close your eyes just for a few seconds and then re-establish with it. So you just make this your practice. There is no force. We're all going to just let the eyes gently close if we haven't already. I want you to just listen to this mantra that I want you to repeat. Very simple, Shrim. S-H-R-I-M. It's the Bij mantra for Lakshmi, Shrim, Shrim, Shrim. So I just want you to continuously say that. This is the Bij mantra for Lakshmi, for love, radiance and inner abundance. So Shrim, 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 Shrim. Just repeat it over and over, over and over. Shrim, or say it out loud if you can, because it probably may have more power out loud. So it's Shrim, 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 Shrim. And just keep going, just keep reciting it over and over. Shrim, Shrim. Just keep going. Shrim, 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 Shrim. Just keep saying that mantra. Just increasing that change in vibrational energy by reciting it over and over. And let this be the last couple that you do. Just let that go. Just let the mouth soften, let the face soften. So try not to let the mind drift off. Just stay in that place that you were, that quiet stillness. Letting the body anchor to the floor. Soft shoulders. I want you to just come back to that lotus mudra that you had at the beginning, just resting it comfortably at the center chest. heel of hands together, little finger and thumb finger. And if you want to, you can look down, blink a few times, release your eyeballs and just gaze down into that lotus flower. And just taking a few moments just to be grateful. So just a few moments to be thankful for the sun and the light, thankful for the moon and the light, thankful for the heart that drums through you day and night. Thankful to the people in your life that inspire you, support you, love you. And thinking about anything else you want to be thankful for. Could be something specific today, it could be general. Just add a couple of other thankful items into this lotus flower mudra. And then when you're ready, just gently bring the palms together. Bow the head. And then when you're ready, take a nice deep breath in. Sigh and release. Release the hands and start to just generate a little bit of movement. You might need a stretch. After sat there, you might want to release the legs. I'm just going to show you Lakshmi in my pack. If I can find her. I'll maybe post a picture of her up into the group so you can see her. So just bring palms of your hands together and just honour the light in yourself, honour this practice. Namaste, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Very much.